Hello everyone, we're finally up to our last section for information processing. We're going to be focusing on attention and processing speed to finish this chapter out. Now this is a good general definition of attention. Now attention has certain characteristics. One of these is the length of your attention span. How long can you attend? It's typically expressed as your age in minutes less than or equal to 20, so 20 minutes. This means the typical adult will only be able to focus for a 20-minute span. We will then take a short break, and most of us can come back and refocus for another 20 minutes. We can repeat this a few times, but eventually we will not be able to stay focused for an entire 20-minute period. We will begin to fidget and doodle and wag our feet. We lose attention. We'll destroy any styrofoam cups at hand. We'll daydream. Okay, this is why I present these units in 10-minute segments to improve your attention. Okay. Another aspect of attention is being able to distinguish what's important and what's not important. This gets harder to do when we're tired or bored. The last two kind of relate together. We learn to shift our attention. Actually, this isn't particularly good for us. We try to divide our attention, trying to focus on two tasks at the same time. Actually, our brains are not wired to do that. What we're doing when we divide our attention is rapidly shift back and forth between activities. And likely we're not doing as well on either task as we would if we were just focusing on one activity. Here we have a chart that reiterates what I have just been talking about, set in a little different format and a little different way. No surprises here. As we get older, we get better at managing our attention. Of course, only to a point. As we get older, we begin to lose our ability to selectively attend. We especially begin to lose our divided or shifting attention skills. You might even see this with your parents or your grandparents if they don't like to drive with the radio on. It's too big of a distraction. I want to talk a little bit about different ways to improve your attention. I've got 5 techniques here, and I'm really hoping that you're already pretty familiar with these. The first is short and sweet. You pick a finite number of activities to do, whether that's to read 5 pages, do so many problems, answer so many questions. Then you allow a short break, okay, no more than 20 minutes on your break here. And if you've had behavior mod, then you should recognize this is actually a fixed ratio schedule. Another technique is to eat your vegetables before your dessert. You decide to work for a specific amount of time, no more than 20 minutes, and then you give yourself a break. That's a behavior mod fixed interval schedule. A third technique is to employ an active learning strategy. Take notes on your reading. Okay. Highlight. Now, be careful. Highlighting is an art. If everything is highlighted, then nothing is highlighted. You can construct mnemonics, outline the chapter, formulate and answer questions. We actually know that students who are able to predict test questions, that is just a hallmark characteristic of an effective student. The last idea on here is to explain it to a dumb friend. The dumber the better. The fourth technique I want to share is to recognize when the grass is greener. If you find yourself reading and rereading the same page, if you're just hopelessly bogged down, put this aside. Switch to a new subject, but don't do this more often than every 20 minutes. The last technique is one that we give to the mature student. Sometimes you just need to take a break already. If you have been studying or working for a while, go out for a pizza, watch a short TV show or movie, exercise, go for a walk. your brain will still be processing all the material you have been putting into it. These are directions to a short yet powerful YouTube video related to divided attention. If you get a chance, you may want to look at it. Our last section we're going to talk about, it's a fairly new area. It's processing speed, also known as fluency, and it's exactly what you think it is, how fast we can process information. Again, no surprises. This gets better throughout childhood, but as you reach adulthood, it begins that inevitable downward slide. Now, so our last question here is, does processing speed matter? Yeah, it's linked to how well we can get through many everyday tasks, linked with competency in thinking. You may be able to get an idea of how processing speed is related to reading, which has been a real hot area in reading research the past decade or so. One of our measures that we use for reading readiness will ask the child to name common items: sock, tree, ball, hat. See if they can do this. If they can't do this, they're really going to have problems with abstract things. If they can, we'll try one of the easier abstract ones, which is naming colors. There is a link between those children who have problems learning color names and individuals who later on have difficulties with reading. We do move up to letter naming, and by first grade, we start reading some words as fast as we can. We want this to become automatic. Okay, folks, this is the end of Chapter 7. We're now going to begin Chapter 8, which is our other long chapter.